On to politics now. And President William Ruto has today reiterated the government's commitment to ensure that all students are admitted to institutions of higher learning despite their financial backgrounds. Now, speaking at the end of his three-day tour of the Gusii region on Tuesday, President Ruto exuded confidence of the 82 billion shillings allocation, which he said will suffice in financing scholarships, grants and loans for students in institutions of higher learning. However, the president failed to address plans to cover the 48 billion shilling shortfall, which could lock out more than 70,000 students from accessing scholarships. Very own Laura Tieno has more.
As the clock ticks for students to join institutions of higher learning, President William Ruto has given an assurance to those joining for the first time that they shall not be locked out due to lack of funding. The assurance coming at the backdrop of increasing complaints from a section of students who are either locked out from the application process due to lack of identification cards, or those whose parents felt burdened by the cost indicated in the revoked admission letters.
We have increased the money available for funding for our higher education. We have increased the money from 45 billion to 82 billion. The letters that were issued by our universities were misleading because they were talking about the cost of the courses. We want letters to be released, those that were released earlier to be withdrawn and proper letters issued.
The ministry requires at least 130 billion shillings for this financial year to cover scholarships, grants and loans. The president, however, failed to address the elephant in the room that was exposed during a recent report tabled in Parliament, detailing a deficit of up to 48 billion shillings that was to be allocated for the three higher education funding policies. The report showing that out of the requisite 13 billion shillings needed for scholarships, the allocated 4.3 billion shillings can only support 32% of the new students expected to join universities, leaving 73,793 students in financial limbo. For continuing students, the Higher Education Loans Board is mulling over a 1.7 billion shillings deficit, where some 61,052 students will also be locked out of funding within the 2024-2025 financial year. Despite these glaring gaps, the president exuded confidence in the government's muscle to support all students in institutions of higher learning.
We want to make sure that every child in Kenya has access to education. And I want to assure parents that we will make sure that no child in Kenya remains out of higher education because of the ability of their parent. We will make sure every child has an opportunity to acquire higher education knowledge in our universities and in our TVETs.
Despite the 31 billion shillings allocation to the Higher Education Loans Board in the recently ratified supplementary appropriation bill, it remains to be seen how the government will juggle in the growing anxiety of a dark cloud of financial distress hanging over institutions of higher learning. Laura Tieno, Citizen TV.